I don't know if you watched last night. The Lakers allowed the Atlanta Hawks. Hawks are 19 games under 500. They almost scored 70 points on the Lakers in the first half. What? Wait a minute. I was reading the newspaper a couple days ago. That win over Boston was going to save the season. Well, that's what all the NBA media guys told me. What? They proclaimed Rondo's shot against the Celtics. Oh, my God. It changes everything. Lakers in the championship round. Oh, now they got beat by the crappy Hawks and blown out by the Sixers. Folks, put the pom-poms down. Report, not support, media members. Once every Laker was mentioned as trade bait, you poison the locker room. They're not going to recover, and Luke Walton is toast. That's what we said. That's what I believe. And now 3 games in post-trade deadline, this is what you have. The Lakers have 8 days off, and you're going to see a big push now to get rid of Luke Walton. LeBron and Luke Walton have no relationship. Magic Johnson didn't hire him. I don't think he's a great coach. I don't think he's terrible. I think his substitution patterns border on random, at best inconsistent, at worst bizarre and random. But I will just remind you, football is the coaching sport. Basketball is the player sport. Is Brad Stevens a good coach? Yes. He's currently a 5th seed in the East. Is Greg Popovich a good coach? Yeah, 7th seed. Is Eric Spoelstra a good coach? Yes, he is. 9th seed. Is Rick Carlisle a good coach? Coaches think he's brilliant. He's an 11th seed. Okay? This is a players' league. You want to know, Dwayne Casey won Coach of the Year in the NBA. Do you know where he picked up his award? At Applebee's across the street because they fired him. Yeah, he couldn't get the award in the building. He was across the street having lunch because they kicked him out of the building. That's Dwayne Casey, Coach of the Year. So if you're asking me who the most talented teams in the NBA are, I was thinking about this morning. If you said, what are the most talented rosters in the NBA? I'd say Golden State, number 1. Let's not even argue about that. And then you can argue about stuff. I'd say Houston second. If Chris Paul's healthy, and James Harden, and Clint Capella, and Eric Gordon, I'd say Houston's the second best roster. Not quite as good as last year, but number 2. Oklahoma City, I've got Westbrook. I got the MVP, Paul George. I got Steven Adams. And I would give them a narrow edge over Philadelphia because Jimmy Butler, Simmons and Embiid, I'm not sure. I don't know about the chemistry. I like the players. I'd put Philadelphia 4. Tobias Harris, that's a really good roster. I just don't think yet their chemistry is quite as good as a Houston. I'd put Boston 5. Toronto with Marc Gasol, I may be underselling him at 6. And Milwaukee, Middleton, Giannis, I put him at 7. Okay, that's the best 7 rosters. I don't have the Lakers 8. I think you can start arguing on the Lakers' behalf from 8 to about 16, and I'm not so sure they're not closer to 16 than 9 or 8. And if LeBron twists his ankle, they are 16th. So congrats on firing Luke Walton. That's not the issue. LeBron does create. This is not a criticism. It is a reality. If I yelled at my son for getting a D in math, that is not a criticism. That is a reality if he gets it. LeBron does create an urgency and a stress and at times an unrealistic expectation on a franchise that you have to win now and people have to leave and draft picks have to go to win now. That's the stress that LeBron creates. It's not a criticism. It's a reality. I've seen it multiple times. But I will just say this. Did Luke Walton hurt LeBron's groin? Because they were the 4th seed before that. Did Luke Walton hurt Lonzo Ball, who got hurt again? Oh, he didn't do those 2. Did he leak all the stories that poisoned the locker room? No, Luke Walton didn't do that either. Okay, so never forget, pre-LeBron's injury, Lakers were the 4th seed in the West. The chemistry was getting better. They're only 2.5 games out of the playoffs now. But go ahead, take a wrecking ball to it. Blow up the coaching staff. Go for it. That's not the answer. LeBron creates an expectation that puts stress on a franchise. Now, he is probably the, first, second, third best basketball player I've seen, but that's a reality with LeBron. And so let's blow out Luke Walton. It's not the problem. Let's trade a bunch of players and get AD. I'm not sure that's going to be great. I think it'd be good. I don't think it would be great. I've seen LeBron with bigs before. So it looks like 8 days off, lost to Atlanta, almost gave up 70 in the first half to a bad NBA team that I'm not even sure is trying to win. I think they're in the Zion Williamson interest sweepstakes as well. But that's the world we live in. I never bought into that ridiculous notion that the win over the Celtics meant anything. I told you last Friday off, I opened up the internet, and there were all these stories about they can play with anybody. Save the season. Unbelievable. Biblical proportions. I believe I'm not into this whole Westbrook, James Harden, chasing stats, chasing plaques, chasing awards. I'm not into it. The only thing that matters in the NBA is winning titles. I don't give a rip about stats. I'm not into Westbrook. I think Harden's better than Westbrook by a lot, but I'm not into him, staying in blowout games to get records. Both Westbrook and Harden are chasing Wilt Chamberlain records, and I'll get to that in a second. But it's interesting because MJ was asked the other day about what's more impressive, what Westbrook's doing triple-doubles or what Harden's doing scoring 30 a game. Winning. By the way, Westbrook has had teammates, Carmelo Anthony acknowledged. Yeah, he's chasing rebounds. We're kind of goosing his rebound stats. Carmelo admitted it. And James Harden, his team is admitting it by keeping him in blowouts to hit a meaningless three. LeBron James, by the way, had a triple-double last night. Here was LeBron James' thought on his amazing triple-double last night. Triple-double, throw it in the trash. Because LeBron's chasing something bigger. And you see this all the time. You see it in Hollywood, you see it in tech, you see it in sports, you see it in the NBA. There are two paths you can take. In Hollywood, you can be The Rock, make money and be popular. That's disposable. Nobody's going to be talking about Rampage, Skyscraper, Tooth Fairy 8 minutes after they're released. But it makes Rock rich and popular. I like Rock. Everybody likes Rock. Leonardo DiCaprio would not star in The Tooth Fairy. He's in Revenant. He's in Wolf of Wall Street. He's in Departed. He's in Blood Diamond. We quote those movies 30 years later. They have lasting influence. Those are two different paths. The Rock's going to get popular and make money. Leonardo DiCaprio will be quoted. Matters, not a disposable career. You see this in tech all the time. Apps make people rich. They're mostly time wasters. Almost no app matters. Right, they're time wasters. I mean, Angry Birds made somebody rich. Uber, FaceTime, Google Maps change the world. Which path do you want? Wilt Chamberlain holds all those stat records. He's more famous, 100 points. Bill Russell, his career matters more. Do you know what the NBA Finals MVP award is called? It's not called the Wilt Award. It's called the Bill Russell Award. Didn't score like Wilt, didn't rebound like Wilt, didn't have the assists, doesn't have all the records. Disposable or long-lasting? Westbrook and Harden, it's not ironic, are chasing Wilt's records, not Russell's. What do you want to be? Famous and popular? Or quoted, remembered, critically acclaimed? And I'm not a huge believer in critical acclaim, but in Hollywood, movies, it matters. Oscars matter. They do. So, I look at a lot of this stuff with Harden and Westbrook, and you can choose either. Harden, keep me in the game. Blowout, loss, win. Want to get that record. LeBron James is chasing something greater than player of the month.
Couldn't you argue, though, that we need both?
Not really.
I mean, you don't want to just unplug sometimes and watch
Tooth Fairy? Never.
You don't just need a light movie every once in a while?
By the way, light movies, Hangover's hysterically funny. I'm not saying I don't like comedies. There's never been a point in my life I thought, you know what I want? I want to spend $70 on popcorn tickets and watch Tooth Fairy. If Revenant was the level of every movie, I'd go to the movies more. The problem is half the movies stink. Now I just stay home and wait for Vice to come out on, at home, and I'll watch it in my theater.
Oh, we go to the movies a lot, but I think that you need balance in everything.
So you've
got to have the Russell Westbrooks that
really
get the stats and make it exciting during the regular season, and then you appreciate the guys like MJ and LeBron who win the championships and are on a different category. I just don't think everything can be the same, and one. It depends on what you're motivated by.
But my thing in sports, it's about winning.
I agree with this. You and I have gone back and forth on this a lot. I prefer championships. MJ is
well,
the
not even
greatest to me.
championships. It's not just championships. You prefer team. You prefer we over me. Because sports is about a collaboration, a community, a unit. You're building together a momentum.
Right.
I don't think basketball's better with Russell Westbrook shooting 28 times and shooting 40%. I think the Westbrook now, who's a distributor, still can't shoot. Oklahoma City's better. The game's better. It's a better example. Like, I think Westbrook's game now is about winning. I mean, he still can't shoot. His plus minus is the fourth best on his own team.
Right, but I mean, I think like even with Wilt and Bill Russell, when you use those examples, when we look at Wilt Chamberlain, we talk about his career in a fun way. You know, he's still someone who contributed to the game. He still put up incredible numbers. You just put Bill in a different category.
The winning category. Listen, I like The Rock. The Rock is fun. If James Harden was, I would watch him play. I'm not like, to your point, if Harden was in town tonight, I'd go watch.
Right. Like, I just think that there's always and sports is entertainment, right? There's always has to be a balance in everything. So I don't necessarily think
But
that
I
it's
think
wrong.
the NBA media tends to fall in love with the less relevant stuff and not pay attention to the more relevant stuff. There's too much fanboy.
Yeah, we
Not
get
we.
distracted.
I don't think we do as a show. I think our show is the wet blanket.
We try to balance things out, but of course, everyone gets excited and attracted to the new, fun, interesting thing, and that tends to be, we talk about the Patriots and the Warriors. Like, winning gets boring. It's because it's consistent.
Hi, everybody. Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, be sure to check out more of the best clips from The Herd or go watch a few segments from other shows on FS1.